Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's episode 3 of Queen Sugar, slowly and always irregularly. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I keep all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. Darla tries to calm Ralph Angel as he is emotionally beating himself up. The eviction is not his fault, and Miss Parthena will be okay. She has family, everyone is working together as a team, and that's why they started the CoOp, to help in situations like this. All of that encouragement flies over Ralph Angel's head. He feels that the CoOp seems like a waste. They don't have the money they need. There was no protection for Parthena, and she was a proud woman who took care of herself, and they took that from her. A lot of people. No matter what Darla tries to do to console Ralph, it doesn't work. Micah can't wait to share the good news with Kiki and Rah. He's sold an NFT. He is now a profitable artist. Mr. Stevens, though, is not excited, and Micah doesn't understand why. He sold the photo that he liked, and even he said it was both art and commercial. But Mr. Stevens says that selling your art doesn't make you an artist. Think about what you're saying and what you're putting into the world. Everyone will now hold Micah accountable for it. Kiki explains to Micah that Rah is worried about the NFT folks, and they're just getting their rift on. To change the subject, Kiki wants to know, what's up with him and the guy in the photo? Are they together? And it's okay if they are. She just wants to know. He lets her know that his name is Isaiah. He's a friend, and they are in the same frat. With that being said, Kiki inquires if he's single or open to dating. She jokes that if it wasn't for her, Micah wouldn't have survived St. Joe, which they both know is the truth. Vi and Darla apologize for moving up the meeting time once again with Mr. Rollins. There was a family emergency last night, plus they are trying to finally develop some sort of normal family work life. Vi explains that at the time when he was trying to develop some sort of national recognition for Vi's pies, there was a lot going on. Now, with convincing from her niece Darla, she's not too shy about the idea. Now she's deeply interested. When Darla begins to start a presentation, he politely stops her. He wanted to help them at one point in time, but he just can't now. He's about to retire. He wants to share the information face to face, that he was retiring and didn't want to shy away from it. Vi thanks him for coming so far to share the information and congratulations on the retirement. But she's going to let him get a piece of pie to settle in because she's not letting him get away so easily. She wants him to walk them through distribution. After last night, they understand more than ever how someone can just lose what they've worked so hard for their entire lives. He loves Vi's ability not to take no for an answer, and he can surely help her for a slice of her awesome pecan pie, of course. Darla then prepares 1 slice for now and 2 slices for the road. Dominik is awakened by Nova. He waited for her all night. What happened? She explains that Miss Parthena was evicted last night and she needed to stay and console. Before that, she had a meeting with Mo, and from there, she went straight to Miss Parthena's. Dominik is curious as to why she didn't call him. He could have helped. And was this Mo from CoOp? Nova brushes off the questions and gets to how she had an idea. If she can get the people to understand what happened on that land and they can feel the essence of their land, maybe they can gain support. She's got to do something before they bulldoze the home. She wants a ring shout on the land. Dominik is eager to help as he is a cultural anthropologist. He teaches the applicable dances. He knows dancers that could help. He speaks about the ring shot information so quickly that Nova is impressed and she jokes by calling him a nerd. She's not complaining, it's just cute. A lot of the farmers express that they have pure sadness about what happened to Miss Parthena. Billie calls the event malicious and horrible. They have more power than they think. She's filing a complaint against the USDA on behalf of the CoOp. This has to stop, and they have to end it. After her speech, Vince pops up, and Prosper is happy to see him. Billie is frozen with shock, even to muster up the energy to say hi. To break the awkward ice, he jokes about how he asked the residents about how to get there. They would say country things like drive ahead a spell and turn at the Rogers place. Well, how long exactly is a spell? He gladly was able to follow someone who knew where everybody would be located. Vince was surprised even to see her getting her normal on. Now the honesty. He's frustrated with Billie. It's been over 6 months and he's tired of her ignoring his calls and saying she will come home, then she doesn't. Why this fascination with St. Joe all of a sudden? After 20 years, you always said that this was a place you ran from and you never wanted to come back or bring the kids. Come back home to Leah and Joseph, your children. And why aren't you coming back home to me? Billie seems to be confused. I don't know what I'm coming back to. Things are different here now, and the kids are in college. Billie says that she wasn't prepared to have this conversation. She's sorry and walks away. Micah explains NFTs to Nova and says that it's the future of art. Nova doesn't get it, but congratulates him on the sale. Micah volunteers to hand out some flyers and ring shout information at Ivory NFT. An old friend of Nova's appears, Chantal. Her job is to get the numbers up, and she gloats about how this time Nova needed her and not the other way around. It's an old jab to the past. Prosper learns that Sandy was married for over 25 years, and her husband was a good man. It was a hard life, but it made her the strong woman that she is today. After their spouses passed away, both tried to date again. Prosper even admits that he had a bad habit of comparing everyone to Claire. When COVID hit, he just shut down and didn't talk to anyone. But God protected him and led him to Sandy. She tells him that he's the sky and everything else is just the weather. Vi admits that Mr. Rollins, everything that he said made her head spin. There was just so much information. There's so many hoops to go through before they can even sell the pies to the people. Maybe going nationally isn't the best route. I mean, I went from selling pies out of my own kitchen to having my own establishment. That's good, and most people don't even get to do that. Darla calms her nerves and says that everything that she's saying is fear. If they do well at this market, they can move up to the French market. She knows that over time, people will line up down the block for those pies. Plus, if they share a booth with a CoOp, it's a win-win. Vi never gives up on something that she wants. Trin is the liaison in the communication with helping Ralph Angel get a few stalls. The deal is the vendor will give a discount in the next few weeks if he comes in now to build the space. Ralph is impressed. When Darla called, it seemed like it would be months before he could roll on in. He's angry and feels that maybe Darla just doesn't get it all. Trin stops him from complaining about Darla. She lets him know that she was able to get the deal about the stall only because he owed her mother a favor. She draws the line when it comes to listening to friends talk about their troubles with their spouses. Ralph shouldn't be so afraid when it comes to business either. She was once afraid of taking over her mom's business, but later learned that she could do it. Ralph ignores the advice from Trin and keeps saying that he doesn't think Darla understands the importance of family legacy. Unfortunately, Darla is close by and asks, "What don't I get?" No, what don't I get? Now Ralph is stuck with his foot in his mouth. At dinner, Darla is so upset she can't eat. Hollywood is curious. Why is Darla so upset? Darla says that Ralph is sharing information of his wife to his ex-girlfriend. Ralph defends himself, saying that he was just venting to his boss. Plus, Trin understands about family business. Darla sets it straight. She's been helping Ralph with the farm for years, and the CoOp was her idea. She's been helping Vi as well. Darla even reminds Ralph that she has been trying to get him to go to the farmer's market for months. It was her idea. Vi tries to put in her 2 cents, but Hollywood stops her. Darla can't believe that she's done so much to help the family, only to have Ralph get traction to the business with the help of someone else. After a long day, Prosper and Vince talk about sports, and Vince compliments St. Joe. There's so much love here. I mean, Billie painted this picture like it was a terrible place. Vince politely demands to know, what were the reasons Billie stayed away so long? He wants answers because it affects him too. He apologizes to Billie for popping up, but now it's time that they talk. Prosper lets him know that through it all, he always welcomed him in his home and warns Billie that when she speaks with Vince, listen with her heart. Hollywood brings a beer to Ralph after dinner. He says, hey man, it was wrong to talk about your wife to your ex. And Ralph says that Trin, she didn't even want to hear what I had to say, but I was venting. We're friends, she's married, I'm married. I just wanted to vent. I mean, Darla's family is just different. Darla was able to walk away from everything her family gave to her, but I can't walk away. This is my life. I lost everything my father gave to me. Hollywood calls Ralph's logic BS. The farm means just as much to Darla. She had a baby on her chest, barely healed from childbirth, weeping her eyes out, still holding you up. They're supposed to hold each other up. Darla is not a girl running around trying to get taken care of. She's a woman who wants to be a partner and stand with you. Ralph is just making things harder for Darla. Ralph thanks Hollywood for the needed awakening advice. While Darla washes dishes in tears, Vi comes to her with a little cash. Not charity, but for all of Darla's help. She constantly helps around the house, yet Darla never asks for a thing. She wants to pay Darla something because her marketing strategy would have cost her an arm and a leg if she got it from somewhere else. Her idea for the farmer's market was brilliant. She's her business partner. Darla thanks her, but apparently Ralph doesn't agree. Vi lets her know that Ralph's actions are due to pride, and Darla doesn't need anyone's approval, especially Ralph. She's smart and amazing, and she doesn't want Darla to sell herself short, wanting approval. She even apologizes for being part of that blame, like she was one of those people that made her feel like she had to earn her way into the community. Now it's time for Darla to stand tall and know her worth. Vi extends the money again, and Darla slowly and gently accepts the money out of her hand. She thanks Vi for everything, and Vi thanks Darla for being amazing. Micah sends a video to his mom. It was a video of her when she was a little girl, saying that she claimed that she wanted to be the president of the United States, and Charlie loves the video. Nova's friend Chantal points out how it's interesting that Nova is doing her thing again, reaching out to all of the sources to help her except for the person that she's with. It's a pattern of hers, deflecting it all because she doesn't want to depend on her significant other. Nova succumbs to her ego and says that her ego, it affects people's lives. The book and this situation with Dominik is great, but everything is still so new and raw with him. Her friend once again calls out the BS. It wasn't her book that called out the mess. It was the Landrys. It's their fault, not hers. Plus, she should let Dominik in and just be herself. Nova, you are not perfect, and you should stop trying to be that way. Just be yourself and let Dominik in. Dominik arrives and he's introduced to her friend. Chantal says that he's an upgrade from the white cop. She wants to dish all of the deets about Nova's bad habits, and it's a friendly conversation that begins with Nova offering more wine. Micah shows Kiki a lot of his work, along with Zane's critiques. Zane claimed that majority of Micah's work is this so-called 2 Black History Month. It's images of disruptors. Zane stressed that NFTs need to sell a vibe. Micah then posts as an NFT selling point the photo that Kiki calls beautiful, Nova holding up the black fist. He says he wants to represent Black History Month. Kiki makes a toast to the disruptors. Ralph takes a moment to speak with Darla and apologizes. At times, he gets things mixed up about what a man is supposed to do. He's sorry. Darla says that she's not jealous of Trin. She just would have preferred if he would have talked to her instead of someone else. Ralph agrees and is open to having more conversations with Darla. And he says as a laugh that Darla and his little woman, little Sugarfoot, keep him in line. Billie says that she will share what she's learning about herself when she's ready. But Vince is tired of the excuses. Her being closed off isn't fair or right. Maybe they should get some rest and try again tomorrow. Billie says goodnight and even sleeps in another room. Dominik will leave for Sudan soon and encourages her to come, but Nova can't just leave. He's excited about the ring shout tomorrow and how Nova sees the world. He's also worried about losing that. those connections that she has with Mo and Chantal. He doesn't. She doesn't allow him to get deeper, to get to know her. He can't tap into that wild side and stay up and talk with her all night like she does with them. Nova assures that those people were only able to see certain parts of her, but he connects to everything about her. It's the day of the ring shout, and many have come to support, even Dominik. Nova just needs a few corporations and strangers to feel the same way that she feels about that land. After Nova walks away to greet some of the guests, Chantal tells Dominik that, did you know that Nova is crazy? Crazy about you. Nova announces that the people buried on this land must be remembered, and they must rest in peace. They must not be forgotten or smeared for just cause. They were living, breathing, sexing people, just like us today. Listen to everything. The song and dancing begin with the words, "Run, Mary, run. You got right. All God's children have the right to the tree of life." Sam Landry then arrives with police officers, but the song and dancing continues. Without any words, Sam nods his head to allow it to continue and walks away. He sees that there is an amount of support, and the cameras around wouldn't be a great look to disturb such a moment. And that is the end of the episode. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. This episode is what you call daunting the brakes. In a series where you had a lot of information and things that happen, you have some filler episodes that give the audience a time to breathe, give the audience a chance to pump the brakes. Them doing that in episode 3 lets me know when we get to the episode 5-6 mark, they're really gonna rev stuff up, because it's highly likely that this ending season will have about 10 episodes, and they're going to wrap up a lot of the storylines. They're going to give us closure with a lot of the characters, and whichever characters do not get complete closure, that means that the audience can make up or have hope of what will happen in the future. Okay, when it comes to Billie, I will say that I am a little disappointed that they're keeping her storyline going with Vince, because I know this may sound selfish. I really don't care at this point about Billie's character. I feel a lot of information that we learned about her happened last season. We were able to find out what happened in her childhood. We were able to find out that awkward energy between Vi and her dad, and we got closure on that. So it's kind of like they could have wrapped up everything that was going on with Billie in one episode. It could have actually been finished in one scene. You know, Billie could have discovered, I really have just made a decision that I don't like being married. I've had closure with my father, but I also have a lot of pain here. I have love for it, but there's a lot of pain here. Like, that could have been done in one episode, but it seems as if they're keeping the storyline with Billie awake because of something that might happen. I think that Billie doesn't want to go back home to her husband so quickly and her adult children, because maybe it's the life she really didn't want in the first place, right? She was upset with Nova for outing her when she was a teenager, right? And she went on to live her life. She wanted to be this lawyer. And even Nova mentioned in the episodes before, like, you used to say you wanted to be a lawyer. What happened with that? And Billie says, well, things happen. You have marriage, you get married, you have kids, and, things get kind of thrown off in life. It was kind of just like this sway of having an epiphany that, wow, I really didn't live the life that I thought I would live. I think with Billie's character is a good guess that that's not the life she wanted. I feel like she wanted to be like a Nova, really have that freedom and not be locked down to marriage and children like that. But she probably just got quote unquote trapped in it and stayed in it for the sake of her children. A lot of people have those lifestyles where you see these talk shows to where they've been married for 30 years. They stick to it because they don't know how to get out of it. And now Billie is lost with a lot of those thoughts. I'm happy. I'm developing some sort of self-awareness of myself. Like she said, if I come back, what am I coming back to? Because to me, it really doesn't make any sense of why she was ignoring her husband like that. And her husband having the patience of 6 months. Like, wow. The fact that he's not saying, hey, I want a divorce, or, I've had enough. The fact that he's having a search for her is like, she making it easy. For the clean up woman. You can throw a man away, okay? So don't throw your man away. So I think that she's going to those drastic that drastic route because she does not want him anymore. It seems as if she really wanted to upset him, that she really did want to push him to the brink of divorce and to maybe make it easier for her not to tell her truth. That's what I think is going to happen with Billie. And when it comes to Nova, as I said in the previous reviews and all of other seasons, and she doesn't seem like the full-time monogamous person, right? She's very free-spirited and fluid in her sexuality and what she wants to do. So she has these options now of, Dominik is cool, but at the same time, is this what I really want? Do I really want to settle down? Because she has this wall up, this guard up of really sharing herself. She did mention, right, that a lot of her previous lovers have pieces of her and that Dominik gets to see all of her. But is she happy with that? Will she at the end of the season say, you know what, I need to stop this? You know what I mean? He seems like a good person to just stay with. Or is this something that she's just doing because it's quote unquote normal for everybody else? I don't know. I think Nova is one of those types to where she can have that fluidity and not be tied down to anyone. It was really refreshing to see Prosper and Sandy, that you have these storylines of, you were married for several years and that person passed away, and it's very difficult to date, and you can't help but to compare other people to your spouse that has passed away. But it's beautiful to see this writing that you can fall in love and you can have a relationship and keep going with something awesome. Age shouldn't stop you from doing that. So it's great to see a storyline like that. We don't really get to see that in too many storylines on television. So that was great. When it comes to Vi and Darla, they are rekindling this relationship of business. They have a history of the static, everything that's happened between the two of them, but they're living together, they're doing business together, but you always have that about mixing family and business. So hopefully there's no static with that. Now, I do think that Darla, when I saw the scene, she's giving her, I think it was two $50 bills for helping her in that, which is like nothing. You know what I'm saying? I understand. Let me just argue my point. I understand that she's staying in Vi's home and Vi always helps her. She's helped her in the past and all of this. But business is business, right? So maybe Darla might have this epiphany that if you're saying I'm worth this and I'm worth that, then I need to start charging other people for my services. She's really noticing her worth, and Vi knows she's worth more than what Darla, it takes. She doesn't want to take the money because it's guilt of, I don't know if I should take this, but Vi is telling her you do have a talent, you are gifted. I think Vi is going to eat her words because Darla knows that she's worth more. She knows she could have charged a fee for that. As Vi said, hey, if I would have went somewhere else, they would have charged an arm and a leg. So now maybe Darla can do freelancing in her services. She knows that she's smart and she knows that she's good. So maybe later on in the season, we will see Darla knowing her worth along with a price tag, because that's very important. And then if that's the case, will Ralph Angel have a problem with that? Because with a lot of reality, platforms, Bell Collective, we see this dynamic and this shift. Even there's been research done in it through Harvard and Yale that we have this role, right, change between the sexes. Whether the female makes the most money, whether there's more fathers being at-home dads, people are starting to realize that the role labeling is just dumb. It's all about being a team and doing whatever works for your family. And with that being said, Ralph and him saying, I just, doing stuff, what I think a man's role is, it's just you getting caught up in it so much to where now you're thinking Darla is the enemy when she is on your team. And Hollywood reminded him of that. Hey man, she had a baby, and in the midst of having her baby, she's doing this, she's doing that. She went through the pandemic with you. She went through the troubles with the farm with you. Like, what are you talking about? Quit trying to treat her as if she's the enemy. She's not. She's your wife. She wants to walk with you. Okay. She wants to be your partner. And with Ralph hearing that from a man and saying, wow, that's true. What am I doing? He couldn't help but to go back to Darla and say, I'm sorry, because that logic and thinking that she's the enemy and confiding in somebody else was wrong. I could, understand the other side that he's saying, Darla's family is different. She wasn't treated the same as me. But when you think about it just across the board, not even on this show, even if you have different upbringings, right? If you're married or you have a relationship, It's not their fault that they have a different upbringing than you, right? You could have grown up a millionaire and then whoever you're with grew up poor, okay? To throw it in each other's faces as a devil's advocate argument. Well, you didn't grow up like me, so you don't understand. It's unfair because they had no choice in that, right? Darla had her circumstances. He had his. He's behaving as if Darla didn't go through anything, which is unfair. But I'm happy that they started that communication, that they had Hollywood there, that they have Vi to tell them these things. So hopefully we will see how that will pan out. Hopefully it doesn't put a strain on their marriage. Kiki and Micah. With Kiki saying, hey, you know what's up with the guy in the photo? Because you can see, right, there's some sort of sexual tension or chemistry or something through the photo. It bled through the photo. With the previous season, we knew that Micah was developing these feelings. He just couldn't really put a label on what he was feeling for Isaiah. So even she could read through the photo, Kiki, that, hey, there's more of that happening. Like, are y'all together? You open? I mean, what? And he seems as if he's happy with being single because you got to remember in the first episode, he had a little boo thing over that left in the morning. So he's dating, he's having his fun. And maybe with Kiki, he's thinking if I get back with her, she's going to want to be all serious. And I don't want to do that. We shall see. This thing with Ivory NFT, I've said from that episode that I don't think it's going to pan out well. And they're going to try to screw him over. The fact that he's had this sale that was $10,000, they probably made $50,000 from it. We don't actually know. We're trusting Zane's number of 10,000. Hopefully Michael will catch on that the NFT game on the show is something that he doesn't want to be involved in. It's cool to sell your art, but like Mr. Stevens says, it was kind of like over the top. You know, he said that, you know, make sure you're not just selling for profit and thinking that's making you an artist. It was a bit too much, but Michael, he's a young artist and he's, you know, getting his feet wet and he wanted to sell his art. So it's like, hey, dude, chill. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. Click that notification bell so you don't miss any posts, and like this video. Put your comments down below. I love reading your comments. A lot of you guys do DM me on Instagram because a lot of you, I guess, feel more comfortable reaching out to me on that platform. That's fine, but it's always good to publicly put your comments so we can have healthy debates and, you know, maybe point out some things that maybe I missed or something that you saw that you would like to discuss with everybody. I really love for my channel. I'm loving that my channel is always a safe place and that it's a healthy, family-friendly environment and people can say what they want and we can enjoy these shows together and say what we want, say how we feel. So just do that. Make sure that you binge watch. There's so much to watch on this channel. We have Handmaid's Tale, the new season that just started. We have the final season of the Emmy award-winning Atlanta. Handmaid's Tale is also Emmy award-winning. We have Bell Collective, a reality show landmarking and showing beautiful entrepreneurs, Black women in Mississippi. We also have Ready to Love, a reality dating show on the OWN network, and so much more. But in the meantime, in between time, remember to take care of yourself and each other. Bye.